You know, in today's world, the conversation around AI has completely shifted. The question isn't if you should use it anymore, it's how you use it. We're going to tackle the one challenge every single modern organization is facing: how to take artificial intelligence from being this risky, experimental thing and turn it into a core strategic advantage, especially when you're in a complex, highly regulated world where there's absolutely no room for error.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start by defining what I call the AI execution gap. It's the critical hurdle facing leaders right now. Then we'll talk about how to actually bridge your high-level strategy with what's happening on the ground. I'll introduce a 4-pillar framework that's all about creating real value. And of course, we'll back that up with a proven track record and wrap up by defining what a true strategic partner in AI really looks like.
All right, let's dive right in and frame the central problem. And believe me, this is a challenge with incredibly high stakes. It's the kind of thing that's rightfully keeping executives up at night.
And that challenge really boils down to this one fundamental question. Every leader I talk to wants to harness AI for that competitive edge. But here's the catch. If you don't have the right approach, you can very easily and unintentionally open up a Pandora's box of new risks: compliance, security, even your reputation.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. The technology itself, it's almost never the biggest problem. The real danger, the greatest risk, is the disconnect. It's this massive chasm between the brilliant strategy you create in the boardroom and the day-to-day reality of how your teams need to use these tools on the ground.
And when that gap exists, well, the consequences are severe. Your ROI vanishes, your security and compliance risks skyrocket, and your reputation can take a serious hit. But maybe worst of all, if the tools aren't actually adopted by the people they're supposed to help, the whole initiative just fails. And that leaves you at a massive competitive disadvantage.
So if that execution gap is the problem, then bridging it has to be the solution. This is, without a doubt, the absolute key to unlocking what AI can really do for a high-stakes organization like yours.
And this slide really illustrates the two roads you can take. On the one hand, you have the common siloed approach: strategy, IT, and business all working in their own lanes. Honestly, it's a recipe for failure. But on the other hand, you have the integrated approach. This is where strategy, governance, and the real needs of your teams are constantly aligned. It creates this powerful feedback loop that just keeps generating value.
And this brings us to a critical insight. Success in this space requires a pretty rare skill, a kind of dual fluency. You have to have a partner who can speak the language of the executive suite and translate that vision into a credible technical roadmap, while at the same time being able to speak the language of the operational teams and translate their needs back into the strategic conversation. That ability? That is the bridge.
So the big question is, how do we actually build this bridge? Well, it takes a clear, actionable framework. This isn't about playing with AI anymore. It's about industrializing it responsibly, with control, and always focused on value.
We do this through 4 pillars that are completely interconnected. First, a serious AI strategy. Second, a rock-solid framework for governance and trust. Third, a relentless focus on concrete, useful deployment. And finally, the creation of custom AI assistants that are actually built for your business.
Okay, so pillar 1 is about getting serious. It means cutting through all the generic hype and defining a clear, results-oriented strategy that aligns your business goals with the guardrails from legal, IT, and risk right from day one.
Next up is governance, and this is the bedrock of trust. It's about building that solid framework to make sure AI is used safely, securely, and in absolute compliance with every standard that matters: regulatory, ethical, you name it. For sectors like finance, legal, or luxury, this is completely non-negotiable.
The third pillar is deployment, and the philosophy here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. The goal is not to be amazed by cool technology. The goal is for AI to genuinely help your teams work better, faster, and smarter. It's all about adoption and real-world results, period.
And that leads us perfectly into our final pillar, developing custom AI assistants. Look, these are not your generic off-the-shelf chatbots. We're talking about secure, governed, and simple tools that are designed from the ground up for the actual workflows of your teams, whether that's drafting documents, analyzing data, or managing knowledge.
Now, of course, a framework is just a bunch of nice ideas until it's been proven in the real world. So let's talk about the track record, because this entire approach was forged and tested in some of the most complex corporate environments you can imagine. We're talking about international organizations handling incredibly sensitive data. In highly regulated sectors like finance, luxury goods, law, and heavy industry, these are places where your reputation, your security, and absolute precision are paramount.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, at Amazon Web Services, it meant advising top-tier clients and literally building the first European team for SageMaker, their flagship AI platform. For a global leader like Pernod Ricard, it involved designing their brand new data architecture on Microsoft's Azure cloud. And as chief data officer for a major Swiss luxury group, it was about deploying machine learning on Google's cloud platform to directly optimize purchasing and impact the bottom line. This is a history of high-stakes, real-world delivery.
And if you look at this progression of senior interim roles, you see a very clear pattern. Major international companies consistently entrusting me to lead their most critical data, cloud, and AI transformations at the very highest levels, from chief data officer to global head of data. It really reflects a deep understanding of not just the tech, but the complex organizational dynamics you need to get right for success.
So, what does all of this mean for you? It means we need to think beyond just another project. The real goal is to build a lasting internal capability, and to do that, you need a true strategic partner.
A partnership like this is defined by its focus. It's about ensuring that critical continuity all the way from the executive suite down to your operational teams. It's about taking a pragmatic, structured approach where security, compliance, and real business value always come first. Ultimately, the objective here is to build an AI capability for you that is credible, premium, and above all, serious.
Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The central challenge of our time is turning that high-level executive vision into tangible, operational results. And the solution is to deliver AI that isn't just powerful, but is genuinely useful, completely responsible, and perfectly governed for the unique reality of your organization.